Just want to welcome everybody to our Monday Mastermind. Man, this is great. Watching, listening to like somebody who's like Ebony was doing amazing in just 1 year because she's just following what the coaches say. It's just so simple, right? How many
Mhm.
of us on here raise of him follow what our coaches say? I know I do sometimes. Carolyn go like me, yeah. But yeah,
It's
welcome,
funny, a
guys.
lot of people who had high level of success had somebody to guide them along the way, right?
Yes. And without I mean, it's interesting how we pay for a coach and we don't listen to them. We kind of like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Like, man, if I'm paying for you, I'm gonna do it right now.
I agree. Donnie is a great coach. He's my upline coach, even though I'm
Yeah.
not on the team. I call him all the time. So Donnie
Yeah.
coaches me.
If Donnie say to do something, if he tell you to jump, you go how high.
Mhm.
That's what you do. I mean, you look at somebody already has what you want. All you do is like, okay, show me the how real quick. I'm not questioning the why we're doing something. Give me a couple how, and then I'll
Mhm.
diving in. So yeah, so today's gonna be an awesome day, guys, because it's gonna be an open forum, and then we're gonna go and tackle some of the stuff like some of us have coaches that we don't follow what our coaches say, and we all have coaches. Rob has one, I have one, and I some for him. And my coach, really compliment me for really good execution. Sometimes he say I didn't do it in the right order because I just hit, and then I'll am afterward. And he go, no, you gotta am, and then you hit. But I forgot what I'm doing, and I'm like, didn't know which one go first, so just get it done. He said, well, you do it better if you do it A, B, and C methodically. But anyway, at least I follow.
Kim's just all over the board. That's all.
But I get it done, right, Rob?
That's right. Make it happen.
Awesome. So what you got? What kind of challenges today? It's going to be a topic where we want to say, okay, what are we facing,
Yeah, what's
Rob?
going on in the marketplace? It was crazy because Kim's out of town and she sent me to her open house that her team was doing here in Atlanta, and they had five different open houses in the same neighborhood. So she sent me over there to walk through the open houses and talk to the agents that were there, and I got to hear some of the stories about what's going on. And the common theme I'm hearing from agents is that the sellers are pricing their homes too high. The buyers are sitting on their hands. They're waiting. They're waiting for whatever, interest rates to come down, prices to come down. They think the market's falling. Sellers that want more money for their homes. There's stagnation going on right now, and so they're trying to figure out how to get people to move. But I was telling them, in all the homes that I looked at, every single one of them, out of all five open houses, all of them are priced too high. All of them for the current market conditions, right? And so, I mean, you just have to work with the market you're in, I guess. But when you have a home that's priced $20,000-$30,000 higher than it should be, that's not going to get anywhere.
Right.
Also, I heard in some markets that some of the sellers are getting frustrated, and instead of reducing the prices, they're just pulling their homes off the market. I don't know if any of you are seeing that. So what's going on in your markets? Let's hear the stories.
So
Well,
you just summarized our market there.
no way.
I got
Can't be
that from
so
2 hours at a progressive open house. I mean,
You just summarized our market. We're seeing all of the above: unrealistic seller expectations.
Mhm.
They're expecting their house to be sold in 3 days, and you're
Mm-mm.
saying, no, 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 that's not what we discussed.
Right.
And you're having to remind them that, no, remember in that conversation we said the market was this, so we're not even expecting you to have an offer today, which is 3 days later.
Mhm.
Uh,
Um,
the
so we're
remind.
also, yeah, we're having unrealistic sellers, and what happens is you end up having to chase the market. And so I had some sellers, we did the CMA, we did the paperwork, and we put it in coming soon. Well, the sellers decided, oh, we're not ready yet. And a month went by. So guess what? We were overpriced. We just got a $76,000 price reduction. I called them up last week. I said, I'm having an open house on Saturday and Sunday, and it would be great if we had a price reduction prior to build up interest. And we're in talks with a buyer now.
Nice.
So we had to chase down the market because we were too high. That month that went by, everything changed. And so we really have to make sure. Now, what I probably should have done in hindsight is say, you know what, a month has gone by. We need to reevaluate this price before we go active. So we ended up having to chase the market.
Yeah, it's crazy that sellers don't realize that if you start too high and then you have to reduce, you're going to end up with less money than if you would have started just under the current market conditions right now and get it sold faster. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And I learned that, oh, Tony, you can just unmute and speak, but today's open forum, so you don't have to raise your hand.
I know, but I like to be, at least, courteous, because when somebody's talking, oh, hey, we see Tony, he wants to say something. So, the one thing, and I see this all the time with a lot of agents in my market, they'll overprice and then they reduce, and that's their strategy. And it just drives me insane because they're not helping their clients out. They're not helping the market out. They're not even helping themselves out. I'm like going, why do you want to do all this extra work? But I see it time and again, and it's not, I could understand if, oh, hey, they're a newer agent. I mean, I've seen seasoned agents to newbies, and it's like, who is out there teaching this?
Right?
Well, or I noticed a pattern based on what you say, Tony. It wasn't who was teaching them. It's more like they're taking the seller's price point, and then they go back, right, Coach Kelly? And then they took that price, and then they will go back and ask for reduction. So circle back to the last week when we talked about my listing. I had a situation, right, where the company of my sellers relocating to North Carolina, and the price that I'm recommended was exactly how much he owed. He owed $480. I'm like, man, if we want to get this baby moving, we can do $480. He's like, Kim, I'll be dead because I don't have that kind of cash to bring like about $25,000 to the closing table. I don't have that, So we listed at $514, right exactly where he just barely make anything. And I'm like, from then on, we're gonna do reduction. However, we're gonna do it after a couple months because he's not the one that paying for the mortgage. You see what I'm saying? So I cannot go off the bat immediately at $480. So I had to go strategically do it at $514. And then weekly I update the him and the company he's working for. So for 3 months straight, I've been saying 480, 490, 480, 490. We are still way high. We say high. Finally, we got a reduction last week for $25,000. And guess what? It does nothing. It's kind of like, so we missed the window totally. And now it's like $489.9 with $25,000 reduction, better than any price that's in the neighborhood, better than anybody else. And so I'm start calling all the agent now, updating them. Hey, just bring an offer, because right now that company willing to pay to bring money to the closing table because they're paying out $4,000 a month toward this mortgage. And so that's been almost 20 grand already. So they're feeling it. I'm like, it's not like you're gonna get done losing. You continue to lose it, but don't do it now. And I'm not guaranteeing with this price we're gonna even move it nowadays. So they're like, okay, let's try 489.9. So that's where we are. So,
but the problem is all the other, it's all townhomes. They're all identical, and they're the same price. And only one has sold. And how long has it been since one has sold, Kim?
Oh my God, that was June. I'm
Yeah.
talking. No, that was
One
that
sold
was.
last month at
Yeah.
the price they're talking about now, which now is too high. So
Right.
it's crazy. And there was a sad story. One of the condos, it's a real estate agent who bought it and now trying to sell it. She bought it for 520 or something like that.
Yep.
She's not going to be able to sell it for that. She's going to take a loss.
And guess what? The other catch. Then that subdivision, they won't let you rent anymore. The rental ratio stop. So you
Can't
can't
rent
even rent it out. That's what I told the people. I'm like, listen, you can't rent it out. You can only live in there. So it's like that's no win for anybody in that subdivision right now as we speak.
Well, and if things get worse, they'll either have rentals or foreclosures, one or the other, you know?
Right.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
just blows your mind.
Right?
it's pretty rough. So this is why we conversation like this give you a guy bullets to talk to, like my business partner. We went through this. She talked about pricing 3 months ago to go, because if we were to list at 480 at the time or 490 at the time, it would have been sold.
Would have sold.
I told him that. I say, why not we go anything higher than this? We won't get the baby sold, and we're gonna drag out, and we're gonna be like, oh, pizza, you know.
Maybe their condo would have been the one that sold in June, right?
Yes,
If they were priced right.
So no matter, I mean, I told 27 years in them. I don't know how many times. I'm like, listen, I work on the 2008 with all the people trying to buy at the highest, and I say, no, man, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here, and exactly what happened 2008, and now I'm going the other way. I said, you cannot, price it, because it's gonna sit on the market. It's gonna be serving as a competition for somebody else get sold before you do. So might as well don't put on the market. But as much as we can do, they still know that we're not responsible for. That's the key, because we've been telling them.
Who's that coach that used to preach all the time? If someone wants to price it too high, don't be the first agent, be the second or third agent. And they would tell them, hey, in your listing appointment, if they want to price it too high, then say, hey, look, I'm going to be your best second agent. Please price it with somebody else at that price, and they're not going to be able to get it sold. When you're ready to sell it, I'll be your second agent, and I'll get it sold for you. And that strategy helped them when get people to either come down on the price, or sometimes they are called the second time.
Oh my God.
So what are the challenges? Sorry.
Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just saying, oh my God, that, you're saying it. I'm like, oh my God, totally feel the same thing.
Right? And one of the great things to do is tell stories. The veteran agents know how to tell stories to leverage their point. Hey, I have this client that priced it too high, and they had to keep dropping. The market shifted. They kept dropping. The market shifted. They ended up going below. But then this other client did it right and pointed and priced it right below the current market, sold it quickly, and then was able to get out. So telling stories is the best way to try to get them to overcome. But we're in that flux period right now with sellers where we're educating them, but they're not getting it. Now, at some point they will, because they're going to have to. Just like buyers back in the COVID days, when you said, hey, you're going to have to pay $50,000 more, for a little bit, they were hesitant. Right. Then they got on board and said, yeah, how much, right? But we're in that point of the sellers are hesitant to price it right because they think they're going to leave money on the table. But we're going to come a point at some point where they're going to realize, hey, if I want to get this sold and with all this competition out there, I better be the first one out and jump in there. So we're in that limbo mode right now. It's all about educating the clients and doing the best you can to educate the clients on where we are and everything.
And I think it's worth mentioning that if you're going to a listing appointment and you're not really digging into their motivation, because if you're just listing people, and that's what we're seeing also so many expires, because people are going out and they're just listing to get a listing. And, there's some coaches out there that have preached a sign in a yard is better than a sign in your car. Well, that depends on the market that you're in.
Right.
And And the thing about it is, if you don't dig into that motivation, like I've got some clients, we're high right now, but they're in pre-foreclosure. They're going down.
Wow.
And we already have a $70,000 price move about to happen on that property. And
There's
but if you have
motivation there, isn't
clients,
there?
yeah, if you have clients who say, "Oh, I don't have to sell,"
Mm,
then it's really worth you got to really have those serious conversations with them about price up front, or you're going to end
yes.
up spinning your wheels and spending your marketing dollars and
Yes.
time where you could be using that to acquire some other clients that are motivated.
That's right.
And I mean, and when you become the expert, like Kelly say, you talk ahead of time. Like I have a client that was gonna go ahead and they sold a home that I recommend at a price that I recommended, but no, he had to sit on the market for 2 months to get the price that I told him from the beginning, right? At 450. It's crazy. So now he wanted to buy another piece of land and a rehab, and he said, "Hey Kim, what do you think about this?" I'm like, "Dude, for the price, I mean, by the time we get to your done, it might be it's a $200,000 piece of property he wanted to buy to flip it at 450. I'm like, right now, that area 450, you need to like demolish and build a whole new mansion to get 450. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is not a market for you right now, bro. You don't get that 450 again. We got lucked out, okay? We got really lucked out on what we just sold, but we won't get that again in a month or two at the same area. And he's like, okay, what do I do? I'm like, park your money for just a little bit, right? If I found something else that's in the $100,000, then we can go with like 350. 350 is the new price for that area coming up. So he's like, oh my God, I didn't even think about all that. I'm like, yeah. So this is when you have to become the expert and know the price. No, look at, don't just hopefully give them a rehab and then go ahead and sold them on the rehab, because you gonna be the one that listing the baby and make sure he's profitable, right? So I say walking in there, knowing exactly, telling the seller, invest here, don't invest here. And at the end of the day, they still gotta be the decision maker. So that's my, my 2 cents working with investor right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. You gotta give them the advice on what the market's going to be when they're ready to sell it.
And I
Yes.
think you also need to look at what the terms of the sale that they need for people that are facing maybe pre-foreclosure, or they have to be gone, or would have to empty out a property.
Mhm.
Well, you tell them, hey, if we price it correctly, we may find a buyer that's willing to give you extra time.
Mhm.
Give you free time in the property, or they're in the case of, we've had some people that had a bunch of junk in the property, and we say we price it right, we attract enough buyers on this property. The investor may say, we'll trash it out for you, just leave it, just leave.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so discuss what terms you can get in their favor as well. And if
Right.
the terms really hit a hot button for them, they may be more willing to go with your price. So price is one thing, but what else is behind it? What other motivations do they have? What other needs do they have tied to the sale, that if they price it right, you could get those other things handled as well? So don't overlook the terms and the details of the sale as well, because that's another arrow you can play to get your price.
For
That's
sure.
That's a perfect point right there. We go in there with knowing exactly right. Coach Keith, is the motivation. Why are they wanting to move, or why they wanted to buy? Because with that in mind, then we can go with a targeted marketing plan than just hit with the price. You're right. You're right on that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, has anybody seen short sales coming back yet? I know short sales went out when the values went up pretty high, but then after COVID and everybody was buying homes at a high rate, at some point, as the market's starting to correct, we're going to have people that bought at the peak that have to sell. Has anyone seen those come in the market yet, or are people been able to pay their way out so far?
I saw a short sale back in February. Actually, thank you to Kelly's advice. So, but yeah, I'm seeing more of them.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. Tell us more about what did Kelly say. Come on, give it to us. Give us
What it was,
I went on the listing appointment, and I had actually tried to previously sell a short sale in the past, and I wasn't successful, but only because we didn't even get to the bank part. Only because the seller just decided not to sell for some reason. She went into foreclosure and went all crazy, psychotic. That's a story for another day. But anyways, basically, so with that experience, I tried to price it where it was like super cheap, where it was just gonna make everybody go crazy.
Oh,
And then Kelly was telling me that I should bring the price up a little bit from so it was a new construction in South Haven, Mississippi, and she bought it for like 330, had
oh,
a mortgage on it for like 310, and it was only when I was running a CMA on it, looked like it could only sell for 290. So I actually priced it originally at 225, and Kelly told me that was way too low, that I should increase it. So I did. I increased it to 265, and I ended up getting multiple offers still. And I had a cash investor, and this deal went on for like 6 months. And thank God they were cash investors ready to do what they had to do. But anyways, I had to coordinate with the bank and figure out how that was going to work, and took a little while to get the short sale packet submitted and trying to get them to stop pursuing foreclosure and all kinds of stuff. It was a lot. And so eventually got in contact with the bank. They agreed to not do anything foreclosure related and to just proceed until we figured something out. And we ended up getting down to the last moment where we did have a short sale approval, but they did an appraisal, and the appraisal appraised the property at 330 because there was new construction in the area selling for that. This one was built in like 2019, but there were some that were in 2024, 2025 that were selling at 330. And so they used those comps, and the appraiser, submitted those to the bank. So the bank didn't want to take much less than that. We ended up working a deal with them. They they originally tried to rework our deal, and they tried to rework our deal and get the short sale to close at numbers where it would actually have been a normal sale. It was ridiculous. And so we ended up I don't know how we got through that, but we did. And then we ended up getting the investor to increase the price by like $5,000 or whatever. And the bank was happy with that. And so we ended up closing. But that was a real close one. And it actually went down to the final day. They told us we had to have money sent to the short sale department by a certain day and time. And the investor was late sending their money. And the seller had already moved out. She moved to Alabama. She spent a bunch of money. She had got a rental property and all kinds of stuff. And basically, if this didn't go through, it was just going to be even worse for the seller. And the investor, they signed all the paperwork and sent all their money like after the closing date. And we were surprised that it actually funded. It was wild.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was pretty stressful. But
Well, hey, but there was a time when short sales were the market for a while.
yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
believe
Oh wow, that sounds a lot. That sounds like a lot, Jordan.
Oh, it was rough. I believe that future short sales will be much easier than that. So. And that's just like as much information as I can put it into a nutshell. Like there's just so much more detail.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This market is, Laura, this market is reserved for the expert or follow the expert kind of market. You know what I mean? You are either the expert or follow your coach's advice.
That's right.
Laura.
I have a short sale listed right now because it's a divorce situation, which is why they're selling. And we did get a bunch of offers, pretty much cash. In the middle of the transaction, they sold the loan. So we had to start over. So we're still in the process right now. Wow. Yeah, great timing. But what I'm seeing too is I have clients that are in trouble financially and in trouble with the house. And the banks, from what I'm seeing, are bending over backwards to keep them. And I don't think they're doing good by them. However, the people don't want to move. And so they'll take whatever Band-Aid they'll give them right now. In the long run, it's not going to be good for them. But, you give them your expert advice. And if they don't take it, they don't take it. So,
Right.
and our market is still hot. We're still putting them on and selling them and putting them on and selling them and putting them on and selling them. So we still have a shortage. Definitely a shortage of listings for sure. So we have not turned yet.
Can you like send them to like Georgia, Tennessee,
Florida needs help from what I
DC?
hear.
Well, Florida needs help, but that's a good opportunity to invest. I'm just waiting for it to go down a little bit more.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's investment opportunities out there for sure.
Oh
But
yeah.
our area is still high.
Man, is crazy high. It's like in Tennessee right now. If we look at a house that is below $500,000, it was like, oh my God, what are you getting? You know, when Rob and I were there, it was like 500,000 was a luxury home.
Like,
Okay.
that's right. That's
Now
right.
it's like $500,000. Oh, we hope you find 2 bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
Like what?
Mhm.
So the market has changed a lot. And for veterans, like a lot of us in here or new one that listening into, just know that get really good at communicating your value and, strategically understand their motivation. Like Coach Key was saying, is boiled out to why are we selling them? Why are you calling me? To really dig deeper and then go on there with the facts or the fact information as to what the market is saying about their house, not you, but what's the market speaking. So because sometimes when we do a comparative market analysis to our client, we act as if we the one will like, listen, I'm just the messenger. I definitely don't shoot the messenger, right? But let me show you something that you might want to shoot me, but please don't. Just the market the way it is right now. We're not in Chicago like where Laura is, We have 3 months ago, I listed that subdivision in Ellington. There was like 3 listing, and that was it. And I told myself, oh, this is great. It's a great opportunity. Only 3 listing. We need to outlist the price really low. But now it's like 10 listing in there, and nothing moved. So
10 listings and 1 sale last month.
yep, all of them for the past 3 months.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about. The kind of data that we want to talk to our potential seller. It doesn't matter when you know your market.
Well,
And
I know that market's coming back to us. It just seems to be the Midwest is the last one. The coast are
Right.
first that go down, and we're the last ones that go down. So it's coming. But from years of being in that market, it's
Mhm.
really all about in your presentation. You have to pre-sell it all.
Mhm.
You have to pre-sell that price reduction. You have to pre-sell that we're in a declining market, well, in some
Right.
areas. And so it's all about very much about finding the seller's motivation. It's not always about money. And then bringing them back to that motivation when you're having that conversation. Try to set up, and I'm sure people have talked about this before, but try to set up price reductions ahead of time. And, really stay in constant communication with your seller. You can't just not talk to them because they're not getting showings because you'll lose them.
Mhm.
So but constantly, sending them new market information, showing them, hey, this just sold, this just closed, this just closed, keeping them apprised about the market. It's all about education, and they really can't turn down facts.
Mm-mm.
So that way you're not telling them, like you just said, Kim, it's the market's telling us. That's what
Right.
I've always said on price reductions. The market's telling us we're priced a bit high.
And what Laura said is so important,
Yes.
but it's easier to do when you're having regular communication
Yes.
with the
Yes.
seller. And what I'm finding is that agents aren't managing their own expectations, let alone managing their sellers or their buyers, whoever they're representing. So our job is to manage our clients' expectations, manage our own mindset, and also to manage the perception of the market. So it's our job to tell people what's really going on because they're watching the news, they're listening to people at work. And if we're the experts, and that calls for us to study the market and
Yes.
actually know it. And we can use tools. We have help now. We have Chat GPT and Perplexity and all these other systems. And if you plug that information, that zip code, you can actually go to Zillow or your website or wherever you have a link to that property, stick it in the Chat GPT, start asking who's the likely buyer for this property, what's going on near this house, and now it'll put it into a nice form for you to send that weekly email to your seller to say, here's what's going on in the market. Here's what we're seeing. If you're representing a buyer client, here's what's going on in the market. Here's what we're seeing. Homes are not flatlining, especially in our area. We don't dip too high up and too high down. Well, we do dip up, but we don't fall out the bottom completely. So we just have little lulls here. But we can tell the seller or the buyer, hey, homes are selling for, 3%. We are able to get 3% closing costs, for example. We just got it on a repair situation, which was unheard of 2 years ago. So we can now educate our clients using the data that's there. And of course, you want to have it sound like you. You don't want to just take something from AI and send it out, but you can interject your local expertise in that and do that every week for your properties. And then when it's time to get a price move, and I call and say, hey, we need to come down 76,000. He said, okay. We didn't have a conversation. He said, okay.
Right.
Another
That
thing I discovered. Go ahead, Cal. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's really that simple, but go ahead.
The MLS gives you, I know ours provides a quick update on how many showings that week and the feedback. And so rather than me trying to describe the feedback, I send it to them straight from the MLS. It shows what they said, how they rated the price, the view. So they can't say, I'm not getting any showings, or you're not, here's a report Monday morning, what happened this prior week. Let's talk about it on Tuesday. And we can discuss it, but they see your effort and what you're doing. That's where that people want to get rid of us. Either we're not communicating enough, or they just don't see any activity from us. And so our job, trying to service multiple people, is to systematize how we reach out to them. So that summary from the MLS on what showing activity took place and the agent's feedback, that saves me a lot of time. To say, let's talk about it on Tuesday. If they got a good point, they'll have that conversation. But then if they see the feedback, like, I can't argue with that, they'll say, oh, I don't need to talk. I understand what you're saying to me. But just systematizing how you communicate, and using like Kelly said, the tools we already have to simplify so you can service more people and find the ones that really want to do something.
I was just gonna say, on that Tuesday strategy call, that could look like a price move, do we need to stage or improve it? Is there something that people are talking about that needs to be done? Maybe talking to them about a seller rate buy down, a reverse offer, making other offers to the buyers who have come out. Do you need to rent it out? Do you need to just take it off the market? Because this isn't going to happen. Or, some people in our market are even going into auction, where they'll price it so low to get multiple offers. Someone just did that on a $1.2 million property in Arlington. They put it at $500,000. Talk about a fire sale. And they got 1.3 million instead of that 1.2 that they really wanted. So you have to have some solutions. We have to be solution driven in this market. And that's why it's a expert market and not just show up anymore.
It's really funny too, Kelly, when you said that. I just thought about a video I was watching on Facebook of a guy who listed a property for $1 that was, worth over $1 million. And that created a bunch of craze right there. That was like, why are you selling for $1? And so I I thought about doing it with one of my listings just to see what happens, but
you might end up buying it like $2, so be careful if you can afford it.
Oh, man. I mean, at the end of the day,
price is right, baby.
At the end of the day, the seller doesn't have to sign anything they're not willing to accept.
Like, dude, nobody buying the $1. What am I doing?
Yeah.
It's the price is right strategy.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, I just get the thing. I got some hesitation on it because it's like, what if I list it for $1 and nobody has search criteria down to $1?
That's right. That's right. They won't even pick it up.
Yeah, they won't even pick it up. So
I would think most people, they don't put and again, at least this is what I see when they do a search, they just do a max search. They don't do a minimum search. Right. They just kind of get everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like $1 million listing and then, you're looking for, a $5 million home, then you might say, oh, I only want to take, anything from 5 million to 2 million or something.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of agents will have a range because there's some clients that wouldn't want to buy something below X amount, so they'll have a low end.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd cover it up. Well, speaking of buyers, what are y'all seeing the buyers doing right now? I was talking to an agent the other day, and they said they have 10 buyers that are just sitting on the sidelines. They're not pulling the trigger on anything. They're taking a peek at a few things online, but they're ready, but they're waiting for different things. One of them's waiting for the right house. One of them's waiting for the interest rates. One of them's waiting for the prices to come down more. What are you hearing from buyers on what's going on with them and why they're sitting on the sidelines?
Interest rates.
Interest rates? Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a few people and they're like, well, when the interest rates go down, then we can start looking. And I told them, well, that's the same thing as saying, oh, I'm going to start working out once I lose 10 pounds. Well, really? How are you going to lose that 10 pounds unless you start working out?
If you actually, that's a really good point too. The one right now that I'm telling you guys, this is what this is, believe it or not, right now is the best buyer's market right now, guys, because right now we are a market where we actually can tell our buyers like, hey, the rate is like kind of right there and the price is kind of on the way down right now.
You can negotiate, right?
You can negotiate because you don't want to wait 3-6 months from now when it all fluff down, and then you're gonna compete with another like 75-80% of the buyer been sitting there with cash. You cannot compete with cash unless you have cash and you one of those cash buyer. Then hey, all power to you. But right now we have room to negotiate. Like I just closed a deal in less than 3 weeks. Literally went in there and got the seller $1.3 million home. I got them for like 1.1, right? And he was at 1.5. And Zillow's estimate was about 1.3, 1.4. We got it for like 1.1 mil. And we closed it baby in like 3 weeks. But that's what I told him. I'm like, look, you get this non-conforming loan at a 6% interest, unheard of, right? And you got it for what? You got it for 1.1, where normally, he's like, what if it's gonna go down? And I'm like, you know what? That's a chance we're taking. We are taking a chance. You might be taking a chance waiting for this deal, and then it will sell like 1.2, 1.3 because, so we don't know. But if you're gonna live in this home and you're going to enjoy it, don't think about, am I going to get equity or anything like that. If you can remove those, hey, just want a home to live here for next 5-10 years, whatever the market do, I'll deal with it. If you can go in that mindset and this is time to buy. But if you are the person, like if it doesn't appreciate, I won't buy it, then this is not the market for you because nothing is guaranteed. So I had that talk. When 3 weeks, we closed that deal, 1.1. And they were like, I'm the best. They gave me a review before we even closed. So I'm just building now Google review. I've never done that before. So this year was like, anybody, I was like, hey, just can you give me a review? And they're like, oh my God, if you need a negotiator, you gotta get, Kim, because all I did was communicating to them exactly what they want to be. I'm like, hey, if you want to wait, then wait. But right now, with your situation, the rate that you're getting at 6.6% on a non-conforming, unheard of. 30-year fixed. This loan company, I don't even know how they get that rate at all, but they did. 30-year fixed, 6%. Non-conforming, 1.1 jumbo loan. I'm like, however you did it, you close it. That's all I care about because I don't know how you even get that. But yeah. So this is a time for buyers. They need expert, like Coach Kelly was saying. They need expert to be able to communicate.
Well, because here's the catch-22 on buyers. If the rates come down, then sellers are less likely to negotiate now. So they feel like they've got a commodity because more buyers come into the marketplace. You got more competition. So there's going to be a shift there.
Yeah.
So right now, educate your buyers. This is the buyer's market. So leverage it, get the deal.
That's another thing. If you do have buyers that are sitting on the fence, You have to be communicating with them constantly about what's going on in the marketplace and pushing inventory to them and touching on them about everything, because any way you can get them to go ahead and commit and pull the trigger, you need to push them. If not, somebody else is going to grab them. If you're not in front of them every single day or week, some other agent is going to find them a good deal and grab them at some point.
Right.
And also, this goes back to Rob, what you were saying about having a story.
Yeah.
And if you could tell those stories even in your database about, like Kim's story right now, I may use it.
Yes.
Because it really happened. Because a lot of times if you wait, because we've got them saying they're waiting for prices, they're waiting for the market to crash, and they're waiting for interest rates to come down. So they're really funny.
Yeah.
But if you can have those stories to tell them, hey, this is how it can be done. Because if you wait until the prices or the interest rates come down and you reach out to them, you're going to find out they already bought a house.
That's right.
Someone else who had a story to tell. We have a great mortgage broker who has been phenomenal. That's one of the first steps to say, hey, this is what's possible. And then we have to make sure that we're telling those stories in our database, on social media, wherever you can tell them about, this is how it was done. This buyer came in and we were able to get them this. And because I just had one where we got 3% and they were ecstatic. They got $20,000 that they didn't have to bring, that they were prepared to bring, and it stayed in their pocket. So many stories that we can tell, but we have to leverage those for these buyers that are talking really crazy.
Well, and that, like you said, that's a great way to keep in touch with them, is send them stories like that of buyers and what has happened and how they came out of it. That's perfect.
Yeah, we got to upgrade our skills and change. I realize my monthly market update is not enough right now. Like Kelly says, it need to be weekly to let them know what's happening. And so if you're staying in front of them and you're providing information, you might give them something that makes them move, make them bite. What else? It was just, I had a seller, older guy. First he said we could do it electronically, but I did a Loom video to send out with the paperwork, to explain the paperwork to him and his daughter. His daughter was all good with it, but I still had to go in person, but it just helped me secure the listing. So we're going to have to up our game in this marketplace on both buyer fronts and seller fronts. And communication is going to be key. So, it's great that you know some stuff, but we're all going to have to dig in, learn a little bit more, practice a little bit more, and implement more to survive and really thrive. Because those that aren't, you see it happening right now. People are pulling out, jumping into other industries. So if we're willing to put in the work, we can win and catch all that fallout and grow our market share.
Well, and you mentioned communicating with them more, having some sort of gimmick to help to get in front of them. Like I mentioned the other day, there's this one guy I follow. He's on my feed every morning, and it's today's dumpster fire. What's going on today in the world, right? And he just gives quick little blurbs of what's going on in the world, what happened yesterday, right? And I like that, it's fun to hear the little what if we had a this week's real estate dumpster fire, dumpster fire update, and you say, hey, 45 homes went on the market last week, and yes, most of them were overpriced, and then we had 14 of them sold. So you see, there's a ratio there. The ratio's going up. So you can just give them real-time information of what's going on in your marketplace, an update, and just make it funny and silly and crazy. And hey, 14 homes sold last week, and half of them were bought by Wall Street. Yeah. We get out of the market. Something like that. So just be funny and crazy, and that kind of thing will catch people's attention. People like that stuff, because I listen to that guy every day and I look forward to it. I got a smile on my face every time I hear it,
Right.
I got to say, I like that.
Doing a real estate dumpster fire update.
I gotta say, I like that loom thing. I couldn't remember if that was you guys that suggested that, but I've been doing that with my sellers to get price reductions, and that's been super helpful as well. So I really like loom.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool do a session, Rob, with watching Jordan or Keith or Coach Kelly to do a loom, you know, a live, you know, like just like ask me.
We're training on that.
Yeah, training on that because, you know, actually, one, I would love to learn how to do it. I haven't done that. I'm like, you know, have not gotten there. The loom.
You just loom and then RPR, and then
Right.
like just showing them what's in the area, what's selling, what's not, what's pending. You know, look, flicking through the pictures on the listings in the neighborhood and that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
It's just the fact that it's kind of like, because when I do Zoom, you know, because I don't know how to do Loom. I heard it's easier than Zoom, you know, because when I do it on Zoom, I can go and share screen and do all that stuff. But I heard Loom is actually easier, so I have to try that next.
And you can actually see when they're watching it too. It'll tell you when they're watching. And so I've got a little like a Google Chrome add-on now. I just clicked the button. I just clicked it just now. Give me a second. Close this thing out.
Okay, share screen. We're gonna couple minutes.
But anyways, the button is awesome. You just push the button and then hit record, and then whatever's on your screen, it's recording. So
it does a little countdown. It gives you a couple seconds, like 3, 2, 1, and go.
Oh wow! Okay,
it's very cool.
And the service is a great
screen now, Jordan. Share it. You got a couple minutes. Share it real quick.
I mean, I'm going to show a duplicate screen, but I'll see what it shows.
Okay. See a bunch of Realtor watching you doing like and market update to your seller live. Welcome to the live presentation, guys.
All right, let's see.
We are.
See this little button here? I just hit this.
Oh, okay.
It wants me to log in now.
User, I got stuck there. No, I'm kidding. Locked it. Got it. Wow.
I logged in, so it shows a little camera, and then you just hit start recording. And then it, you know, something crazy is going on. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, you just click one and just start recording. So, all right, things going all crazy.
Okay.
So are you showing facts that you've accumulated online? Like, are you showing like a list of, okay, this is what's happened in this area and these have sold and these are pending, or what are you showing them on the screen?
So for me, I'm actually like giving them raw footage. Like I'm going in there and I'm like, hey, I'm about to open up the listing and open up the area. And I'm literally like, they're getting my feedback on everything. And I'm like, hey, you know, just they hear my thought process as I'm going through the properties. And then I'm just kind of like talking to them as I'm like doing the research. And then that way they can see what I'm looking at. And so it's none of it's planned at all. So when I start recording this video, I'm not planning it out at all. So
you can go over. You can also go ahead, Cal.
Go ahead, Keith.
I was gonna say you could go over. Let's say you're pulling comps for a property you want to show it right from your MLS screen. This property came on the market this date, on the market so long, closed. You know, you can indicate they were priced here, sold quickly. These people priced $20,000 higher. They're still sitting on the market, so they see your live data. I use it to go over a contract because a lot of people don't read contracts. You send it, send them to them electronically. They just sign off. So it's also a cover your butt strategy to show, hey, I sent you this video explaining what was in the contract. And so you can't say you just signed it. You didn't know. I covered all the bullet points in this video,
right?
Covering, what was in it. So you can't tell me you didn't understand it. I sent you the video and like you say, it shows me when you watched it. Yes. And so I have it all recorded in Follow Boss. I have my insurance for myself if you flake on me. So Loom is a great tool to use for educating the client, covering yourself, and getting your message across with no filter. It's the raw data, and you telling them exactly what you're seeing.
I like it.
That's powerful. That's not only for documentation, but for serious communication, because they will watch it when like 2 o'clock in the morning, when they off from work or whatever. So you can get to see that. Right. Gotcha. So you don't have to chase them. Gotcha. That's great. I'm okay. That's going to be a new thing I'm going to implement. Loom.
This is good information. Hey, everybody. Can y'all hear me? It's good information. So when you send, hi, everybody, when you send the Loom video to them, is it a link or is it going to be something that they have to download? Like, is it easy for
It's a
them to
link.
watch the
I
video?
believe it's a
Okay.
link. Isn't it a link,
It's a
Jordan?
link.
It's a link.
Mhm.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, it's an add-on. So you
Thank
just
you.
little add-on button.
Yes.
Yeah,
Happy
Kelly.
birthday, Coach Kelly. Yes, you had a
Kelly.
great weekend, I'm sure.
Somebody said something
Oh,
about paying
yeah.
for it. Yeah, you'll definitely probably want to pay for it because otherwise it will
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
do it a few times. So.
Are you texting it or emailing it?
Yeah, I just copy the link and I text it.
I do both, so they got no excuse. They have no excuse to say I didn't get it to them.
I was gonna say another way to use Loom is to do a CMA
Mm.
right on there, and you get to show people a range of values in their area, and also a buyer next steps. So whenever a buyer goes under contract, we have next steps that go out that say, hey, this is the ratification date. This is how many days you have for an inspection. Here's 3 inspectors. You got to guard your credit. It talks about insurance. So it runs them through exactly what's going to happen and all the dates that go through it. It even mentions that our concierge is going to call them about utilities, and we're going to do a final walkthrough. And it asks for Google reviews. So it just gives them everything that they need walking forward, and I think that also demonstrates to clients that you're prepared and you have a plan.
Yes.
And that's what people really want to know right now. Like, what is your plan to get me into a house or get my house sold? So if you don't have those strategies in place, yeah, Loom is great, and it's cheap. It's not expensive.
Wow. That's great. So yeah, everybody say wish happy birthday, Coach Kelly there.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jonathan said that just remember, if you use the free version of the Loom, it only limits to like 5-minute video only. But if you want longer, then you just have to do a paid version. So that's good too. Good to know also. So yeah, but you guys usually do up like less than 5 minutes, right? I mean,
Yeah, I try to keep it short. I don't go long. It's like bullet points.
Yeah.
But I'm covered. I hit the highlights, the hard parts that they need to understand.
Right.
And this guy wanted to have his attorney review the listing agreement. I'm like, he doesn't know but I sent it to the attorney anyway. So he saw the video and it cut out a lot of BS from that the attorney would have interjected. So
Exactly right.
definitely helps, cuts down when you got that third party that needs to look it over.
That's one of the things Donnie was talking about. You know, those strikeouts. That's one of those strikeouts right there. It's like, oh man, we're gonna have an attorney review it now. You know,
yeah, that's right. So
wow, that's very cool.
Hey, this is a little off subject, but have you all had any issues with buyers getting insurance? I had a property where I think it was State Farm or maybe Allstate wouldn't insure the home because the roof was old.
Oh yeah.
We're seeing more and more of the roof issues with insurance by far.
Okay.
How old is the roof?
It was about 15, 16 years old.
That's kind of right there at the cutoff.
Yep, that's right at the cutoff. Yep.
I bought a rental property earlier this year where I use USAA, and they came out and inspected it, and it had rained that day. So they were looking at a wet roof thinking that it was old and deteriorated, and they reported it back, and they threw they went real crazy about it. They were calling me, sending me emails like, hey, we're going to cancel your insurance policy if you don't get some professional to tell us that your roof is, give us some professional opinion about your roof, or if you don't replace it. And I was like, I'm not replacing this roof. It's perfectly fine. Anyways, got my contractor who renovated the property, got him to go and give his professional opinion with his branding and everything on a memo. And we sent it to them, and that got them to shut up. But yeah, they're real weird about about stuff like that right now. So,
Especially on investment properties, like you said, Jordan, they're like that. Investment properties for sure, condos, which that's a problem in itself when you're trying to get an investor to get a condo. And
another thing that I have to play around with USA, and this is kind of irrelevant compared to the other thing that, with normal buyers, but the USA requires me to have the property occupied within 90 days. And so if for some reason it takes me longer than 90 days to rent it out, then it's an issue with USAA. So it's
not just with USAA. In Texas, they won't insure a vacant property, period. So if you, because I mean, the Houston market, there's so many insurance claims for various things over the years that, and even here they're pulling out. Who was that? Was that Progressive, Keith, that pulled out of DC?
Oh, it was Travelers.
Wow.
Travelers pulled out 100%. They will not insure a house in DC. The houses are old and they cost too much.
Oh my.
Wow.
Up in Illinois, State Farm just raised their homeowner insurance rates up, I think 27, 29 or 30. It was right around 30%, somewhere from 27 to 30%.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I know State Farm gave us a quote to change to their insurance, but our insurance company has gone up, but not a whole lot each time. So I'm kind of, if you change, maybe good rate the first year, but then what are they going to go up the second year?
Yeah, you always got to be mindful of that and keep on top of it, because it might be where you play in the game where every year you're having to chase to get a decent rate.
Yep.
And, that is a lot of time and energy, but, hopefully you'll find one where they'll stabilize and, keep it, like you just said, Rob, where your rate's not going up, that much. I know I was with American Family for a number of years. Before them, I was with AAA. They kind of screwed me over on a couple claims. So I went back to AAA and, I think I'm going to be very happy with them.
Very cool. Well, awesome, guys. This was a great call. A lot of great information out of it. I love hearing stories about what's going on and how we're navigating the challenges. So, hey, we're going to see everybody again next Monday. And happy birthday to Kelly.